Hello. So in today's lecture 8 of control theory, we will discuss about transient response specifications. So in previous lectures, we have discussed about first order system response and second order system response for different standard signals such as unit step input, unit ramp input, and so on. So we found that whatever response we receive, it is composed of two types of responses, transient response and the steady state response. The study of transient part is necessary because that is the initial stage of your response, and your system will react in oscillatory manner for this transient period of time and before reaching to the steady state response. Okay, so here we will see some specification of transient response. Before that, we just discuss some points that related to transient response. Frequently, the performance characteristic of a control system are specified in terms of transient response. Okay, the performance of your system, whatever control system you have designed, it depends on the transient response, how it behave in its initial stage. Okay, to a unit step input, since it is easy to generate and sufficient drastic. Okay, so if we analyze the system for unit step input, that is sufficient to analyze your system. Okay, we don't need to go for other input responses because this unit step is sufficient drastic. As you know, it is applied like sudden. Okay, from 0 to 1, it goes from 0 to 1 in no time. Okay, and then stay at that particular amplitude. Okay, so it is sufficient drastic. Also, it is very easy. Okay, it is not that much of complicated like other input signal. So it is easy signal and sufficient drastic. If the response to a step input is known, it is mathematically possible to compute response to any input. Okay, it is a common practice to use the standard initial condition. What is the meaning of a standard initial condition? It is that the system is at rest initially with the output and all time derivatives are zero. And with this standard initial condition, the response characteristic of many systems can be easily compared. Okay, so what is benefit of using this standard initial condition is that if you give the same initial condition to different control systems which you have designed, control system 1, control system 2, control system 3, and so on, and you want to compare them, which one is better? So first of all, you have to make them uh, equally, make them equal. Okay, means you give the same initial condition to all those systems and then you analyze, and that same initial condition is standard initial condition, that is zero initial condition. In specifying the transient response characteristic of a control system to a unit step input, okay, you have a control system and you apply unit step input and you want to see the characteristic of transient response, how this transient will behave, those characteristics. Okay, it is common to specify the following. These are the important characteristics or specifications. First one is delay time, rise time, peak time, maximum overshoot, and settling time. Okay, so we will discuss one by one all 5 characteristics or specifications of transient response. Okay, this is related to transient response because your response, whatever output you get, your whatever response or output you get, it will be having 2 parts. Okay, means the part which is initially representing the system, and this is called your transient response. Okay, and after that, once it gets settled near to the unity, near to the one, once it gets settled near to the one, we call it steady state response. Okay, why your system will get settled near to one? Because it is a second order system which is in closed loop. Okay, it is a closed loop, so whatever input, desired input, whatever reference input you apply, you will get output near to that or equal to that. Okay, so this is your reference input, and in closed loop system you check whether you get your desired output. Okay, whether you get your desired output or if there is some error. Okay, so we will discuss all these characteristics. First one is delay time. The delay time is the time required for the response to reach half the final value of the very first time. Okay, half the final value very first time. Means your final value is 1 and half of that will be 0.5. Okay, the moment the response C is equals to 0.5, that is called delay time. That is called delay time. Okay, so this curve is showing unit step response of a second order system. The time, for example, this is your 100% value, reference value is 1. Okay, the time when we reach to 50% of this value, 50% of this value, and corresponding we see the time on the x-axis or abscissa, that is called your delay time. From here to here, it is your delay time. Okay, second definition about rise time is the time required for the response to rise from 10 to 90% or 5 to 95% or 0 to 100% of its final value. Okay, final value is 1. Okay, and you reach from 0 to 1, that you can say you are moving from 0 to 100%. Okay, your final value is 1. If you move from 0.05 to 0.95, okay, note 1.95, then you can say you are moving from 5% to 95%. Why we have different measures, 10 to 90? 5 to 95, 0 to 100. It depends on the system behavior. For underdamped system, underdamped second order system where damping is there, but little bit of damping is there, the 0 to 100% rise time is normally used. Okay, there we say rise time will be equals to when you reach from 0 to 100% of the final value. Okay, for overdamped system where damping is too high, too much damping, and such type of system will be nearly behave like first order systems. Okay, so for first order systems and overdamped system, first order and overdamped system, generally we take the criteria of 10 to 90%. Okay, that will be the rise time when the response goes from 10% to the 90% of final value. And for the critically damped system, where damping is equal, damping ratio is equal to 1. Okay, that is critically damped system. In those systems, we will take rise time from 5% to 90%, commonly used. Okay, these are standards. Okay, so for example, here, if we take from 0 to 100%, consider that the system is representing a underdamped system, and you can see it is an underdamped system because we have some oscillations here. So we will take the criteria of 0 to 100. Okay, so here it is 0 value of your output response, and where it is maximum value is here. Here it is 0 value, and here it is maximum 100% value. Okay, so between these point, from 0 to 100, okay, from 0 to 100, here we call it rise time. We call it rise time. Clear? Third is your peak time. The peak time is the time required for the response to reach the first week of the overshoot, first peak of the overshoot. So when we look at this response, here it is going, it crosses the reference value, and there is a peak. Whatever is above this reference value, that is overshoot. Okay, remember, whatever is above this reference value, that is overshoot. So your response crosses this reference value, reach to a maximum value, and then start decreasing. Okay, so here we get our first peak of the curve. This is our first peak of the curve. So the time taken to reach first peak, so we just get this time on the abscissa, and this time to reach to the first peak can be called peak time. Clear? So 3 definitions are clear. Now we move to another definition. Next one is maximum overshoot, MP. Okay, so this MP, the maximum overshoot, is the maximum peak value of the response curve measured from unity. Okay, so for this peak, for this curve, this is your unity or reference value, and they say that overshoot is the maximum peak value measured from unity, maximum peak value measured from unity. So this is my unity line, and this is my maximum peak. So maximum peak value, this is my maximum overshoot. Okay, so the curve goes maximum to this value MP with respect to this reference value, Okay, and this value is called maximum overshoot. If the final steady state value of the response, okay, here then it is not necessary that your response will match to the reference value 1. It may stop at some steady state error, okay, like this. So if there is some steady state error, if the final steady state value of the response differs from unity, then it is common to use the maximum percentage overshoot, and this maximum percentage overshoot is given by this formula. Response at the peak time, value of response at the peak time, okay, here whatever be the value of your system, maybe 1.5 or 1, whatever it is, because it is above the 1 reference value, minus response value at a steady state, because at a steady state times approaches to infinity, divided by system response at steady state multiplied by 100. So you will get percentage, you can say percentage overshoot. Okay, you can calculate like this. Another important characteristic is settling time. The settling time is the time required for the response curve to reach and stay within a range about the final value of size specified by absolute percentage of the final value. Understand? Your response at a steady state, it gets settled to some value. Okay. It can be equals to 1. If there is no steady state error, then this response will get settled at 1. But there may be chance that it will not get settled at the 1. It will have some error. It will get settled at 0.98, or it may get settled at 1.05. Okay, 1.05 or 1.8, whatever, but it is not exactly equal to 1. In that case, settling time, how we measure the settling time? So the time where it gets settled and stay there about the final value of size specified by absolute percentage. Okay, if you look at this curve, it is not settled here, but after some time it starts settling. Okay, it starts settling. We say here it is settled around 98% to the final value. So the time to reach to this 98% value, we call it settling time. Okay, you can say, sir, here is also 98%. Why it is not the settling time here? Because the response is not settled at this point. It is still in this oscillatory form. The moment it gets settled near to the reference value, here it is not settled to the reference value, near to reference value, because it goes very high from the reference value, then come again down, again it is very far from the reference value. So once it gets settled nearby reference value, say just nearby reference value, we can say it is get settled. Okay, so this is your settling time. You can say how much percentage it should get settled near to the final value. So generally criteria we take is 2% or 5%. Okay, so settling time is related to the largest time constant of the control system. As we discussed in first order system response, I told you that system gets settled to the final value when near about like 98% of the final value. You can say when it is 0.98 it is like 2% error only. Okay, or you can say 1.02, okay, or 0.98, so it is nearby 1. Okay, so the largest time constant, so basically it is the largest time where the system gets settled to the final value, nearby to final value, not exactly like 2 or 5% to the final value. So that time is settling time. So we studied these characteristics like overshoot, delay time, rise time, peak time, settling time. Okay. Now we, before moving further, it is important to note some important points. So here I am just discussing those points. So the time domain specifications. So these are all time domain specification. We are talking about time, delay time, rise time, okay, peak time, everything is time. So this time domain specification just given are quite important. Since most control systems are time domain system, isn't it? That is, they must exhibit acceptable time responses. Means the control system must be modified until the tangent response is satisfactory. So this tangent response must be analyzed very carefully because it decides the performance of your control system. Okay, so if you design like 1, 2, 3, 4 control system, and when you compare them, and if you see that the first control system is showing a very high overshoot, you will say it is not a good control system. The results may be catastrophic. If this control system is related to human life, then we will ignore that control system. We will move to the another system, or we will modify this system until we get some satisfactory tangent response, until we get very low peak oscillation. Okay, because this overshoot may be very dangerous, okay, for the real physical system. So we have to modify our system. Similarly, in some system, we are we say it is okay if we have little bit of overshoot, but we want that system must be very fast. There should not be much uh, time delay. Okay, so it should respond very fast. So we can design that system according to the requirement. According to the requirement for the particular application, what we do, we we play between these specification, tangent response specifications. Okay, so there is some compromise between these characteristics in order to satisfy the requirement of a particular application. Okay. Second point, note that all these specifications necessarily apply to any given case. For example, for an overdamped system or first order system, in overdamped system or first order system, we generally, our response behaves like in sluggish way. So there is no overshoot. Okay, so in such system, like peak time and maximum overshoot do not apply when we deal with first order system or system with the very high damping, because there will be no oscillation. If there is no oscillation, so there will not be any overshoot. Okay, so these terms will be ignored. For a desirable transient response of a second order system, okay, if you talk about second order system, the damping ratio must be between 0.4 to 0.8 in case of second order, not first order, because in first order system we don't have this term damping. Okay, so it must be between 0.4 to 0.8. Why? Because if it is less than 0.4, so in that case overshoot will be very high. Okay, we have to make a system which is having like optimal values of this overshoot. Okay, because too much overshoot is not good. If it is too much overshoot, it is not good. Okay, so if you take this small value of zeta, yield excessive overshoot in transient response. And a system with large value of zeta, if you take large value of zeta, system will respond very slow. So to reach the final value, it will take too much time from here to here. Okay. If you take zeta very high, if you take zeta very low, time will be very less, system will respond very fast, but there will be a lot of overshoot. Okay, we have to make a compromise between that. So the maximum overshoot and the rise time cannot be made smaller simultaneously. Okay, we want both the things. Okay, I want both the thing. I want that there should not be any overshoot. I don't like this. Also, I don't like the system respond very slow. But simultaneously, we cannot made smaller both these things. Okay, if one of them is made smaller, the other necessarily becomes larger. They have conflict between them. If we reduce this overshoot, system will become sluggish. If you remove this laziness, this sluggishness, the system will be having oscillations. So you have to make a compromise between them, optimize these two values. Now, what we do, we obtain transient response specification, whatever we have discussed in previous slide, for second order system only. Okay, because previously, whatever these specification, all five if specification, these are for any system, first order or second order, whatever. Okay. However, in case of first order or overdamped system, these doesn't apply, maximum overshoot and peak time, because we don't have much overshoot in first order system. So now we focus only on the second order system where all these terms are applied. Okay, in the second order system. So these can be derived from the transient response specifications for a second order system. Now we only focus on the second order system, can be derived from the unit step response equations derived earlier. We have already derived unit step response for second order system, and by putting some specific value in those equations, we can derive all these specification, all these properties like TR, TP, and so on. So I'm not going to derive that here. I am writing directly the formula, four formulas for those specification. First is rise time. Directly I am writing the formula pi minus beta over omega d. Omega d is damped natural frequency, which is nothing but natural frequency, undamped natural frequency 1 minus damping ratio square under the root. Here beta is given by in terms of damping ratio, zeta. Simply we can calculate. For this peak time, simple formula pi divided by omega d, damped natural frequency, and maximum overshoot is given by this formula in case that there is no steady state error. If we say final value is unity, means our output response reaches to the reference value 1, then we can use this formula pi zeta omega 1 over omega d. And in case the output is not unity, there is some steady state error, so you can use this formula simply response at the peak time minus response at steady state divided by response at steady state. You can calculate it's in percentage by multiplying by 100. Okay. Then settling time. Settling time can be of two criteria. It can be 2% settling time or 5%. As we discussed that the response may settle near around the final reference value, near around the 1. If it is like 0.98, so it will be a criteria of 2%. If it gets settled like 0.95, we can say 5% criteria. And it is according to the time constant. So 4 time constant is equal to the 98% of the final value. The formula for this 4 upon zeta omega n for 5% means 3 time constants. It will be 3 by zeta omega n. Okay. So simple formula, we try to solve a numerical problem and we will understand. For example, we are having this standard second order system. Okay, omega n square divided by s square plus 2 zeta omega ns plus omega n square. This is transfer function, closed loop transfer function of a second order system. If these values are given to us, zeta and omega n, these two unknown are given to us, 0.6 and omega n 5 radian per second. And this input to this system is unit step. This RS is unit step. Now find rise time, peak time, maximum overshoot, and settling time. Simply, we will use these formulas. Here, TR is pi minus beta divided by omega d. Omega n is given to us. Okay, so we can calculate omega d. Zeta is also given to us, 0.6. Okay, it is also given to us. We put these values here and we find omega d. Okay. Similarly, we can calculate this beta if we know this zeta. Okay. So by putting this value of zeta here, we can calculate this beta 0.93. So rise time will be pi minus beta divided by omega d is equals to 0.5 second answer. Second, peak time, pi by omega d, pi 3.14, omega d 4. So this is my peak time. Maximum overshoot, since it is not specified if there is some steady state error or not. So we assume that final value is unity, that our output response will reach to the reference value 1. Okay, in that case, we put this value pi 3.14, zeta 0.6, omega n is also given to us 5. Okay, and omega d is 4. So this is your maximum overshoot. Clear? So means if you want to calculate in percentage, you multiply by 100. So 9.5% of overshoot means the value will be go like this. If this is final value, so it will be overshoot. So it will be like from here to here, it will be overshoot 0.95. Okay. Now settling time for 2% criteria, 4 by zeta into omega n. To put the value, we get settling time 1.33 seconds. Means we can say the response will reach to the final value and will get settled to the around 2% in 1.3 seconds. From here to here, 1.3 seconds. And if it is the criteria for 5%, it will be get settled in 1 second only. Okay, so this is how you can compare different control system, and it is very important to analyze this transient response. Whenever you design any control system, it is important that you modify these values, TR, TP, MP, TS. It is very, very, very important. And this is the main fundamental of designing of control system. So that your control system, design control system behave in a smooth manner. Okay. The result should not be catastrophic. Okay. So these are very important properties in designing. So here we stop now. And this is the book. If you